Welcome everyone, it is Carbon240, also known as just Carbon, or I'm Carbon. So I wanted to come at you guys here with a video of some pro tips in Call of Duty 4 Blackout. Now I didn't play it a whole lot up until the double-double on Call of Duty, and that was the double merit plus the double echelon points, or merit points. And I was really fascinated by Blackout after playing. I got to level 80 really quickly and unlocked a lot of characters. But there are some things I really want to go over because I started playing one way and I ended up playing another. Now this is just going to be part one of some pro tips. Now these are really good tips. I have about 50, almost 60 wins just playing in that small time frame. And there's two things you do. You can either hide when you're playing this game, or you can run and gun like I am right here in this video. Now, I started as a person who hid, and that's just because, you want to get that win. You want to get as close as you can, but then you start realizing the merits and how fast you want to rank up and the characters that you can unlock. I just completed the level 80, like the final one, and I finally got that character, and it felt so good. But my favorite will always be Seraph, who I'm also using in this video, and that's for other reasons I'll explain in another part of the series. So let's just say hider or somebody who gets kills, you're gonna want to loot and scoot. And what I mean by that is you're not gonna want to spend a whole lot of time looting. You want to spend as much time looking for the enemy as possible. You want to be aware of them. You want to be focused on where they possibly are. So one great tip is to go into your settings in Blackout and go to the Blackout portion, and you will see that there is a loot button that you can either press or hold. Now by default it is hold, but if you change it to tap, you can run and loot. You can loot through bags a heck of a lot quicker. Now I just take everything because I never know which gun I'm going to end up using, but there are some favorites again which will come out in future videos. Now, if you don't go through windows unless you absolutely have to. They are very loud. Try to go through doors, close them behind you if you have the tap, because it is a lot easier now. You can open and close almost instantly. It's great. But unless you absolutely have to, don't go through a window. It is easy to track. It is easy to just not only hear, because if other players are probably like me, they have headsets and probably good ones, and they can hear exactly where things are. Second of all, if that person who heard it is already looking for you where it came from, they can find the window that was broken and kind of track your movements, because experienced players kind of know where you are they're very good at tracking people's, because we know the best places. If you're going to turn here, go through that door. We've done it too. We've been in those situations. We can kind of get those same reflexes. So we're really good at tracking, and you don't want to be tracked. Which leads to my next one, is to be quiet. You want to be as quiet as possible. Crouch walk, use awareness. If you absolutely need to and your headset isn't the greatest, but absolutely crouch walk. You want to listen for those enemies. If you can get an idea of where they are, you can keep moving. If you sense they're getting closer, you always want to be at a choke point to where you think they're going to be running to or looking for you, so you can get the jump on them. But you always want to be quiet. Dead silence is absolutely the key thing for the end of the game. You absolutely want dead silence, and that's just because as easy it is to hear people, they can hear you, just the same. So you want to keep that to a minimum. You want to keep that sound as close down as possible. So crouch walking is better with the less armor you have. So if you have no armor, you're going to be a lot quieter. The level 1, a little bit heavier footsteps, all the way to level 3, which is the loudest of footsteps. Now, when it comes to just being quiet, you also want to be aware that the enemy is also being quiet. So that's where awareness will come into play. And that leads me to my next complete, package here of tips, and that's the perks. Now, dead silence is absolutely something you need, and awareness is absolutely something you need. But there are perks that go together perfectly, like dead silence and skulker. At the end of the game, or even at the beginning of the game, anytime you really want. If you put dead silence and skulker on, you can crouch walk at the speed of sprinting and be completely silent. You can creep up behind people. You can do anything you want, especially for different challenges. If you need to kill somebody with a nade, if you need to kill somebody with a ray gun, if you need to kill somebody with the annihilator, this is absolutely perfect for that. You can just sneak up on people if you need shotgun kills. It is great. But dead silence, and Skulker are nothing compared to just awareness in general. Awareness, you can hear people from so far, like 50, 60 yards away, and you think they are right next to you. But it is amazing. Once you learn it, it doesn't get any better than sound whoring people. It really doesn't. Like, you can just track every piece of their movement, and if you do it fast enough, they don't know where you're coming from. But also, with awareness, you want reinforced. Now, I can't, and like, I don't know how many times this has saved me at the end of the game. I always have reinforced now at the end of the game, and that's because people like to use the concussions. It used to be 9 bangs, which I never really got time to play with and appreciate like other people did. But concussions, now that you can stack 2 of them, they are amazing for the end of the game. If you throw them at the enemy, you're stunned. But if they throw them at you, you're also stunned. So reinforced. If they throw them at you, you get stunned. At least they think you do, and they start charging at you, thinking that you are completely blind, you can't move. And the closer you get, bam! Oh my gosh! You just pop up, you kill them. They are so confused. You caught them so off guard. But that's probably the best reason to use reinforce. Is probably the concussions at the end of the game. Now that also leads to another perk, Paranoia. Paranoia is great if you're somebody who is running and gunning or hiding. Because if you're hiding, you can put on Paranoia and you can see if anybody is looking at you or not. Because you want to know that. You want to know if someone's behind you. You want to know if someone's aiming at you. Especially if you're just hiding and sitting still. Maybe you're behind a tree, behind a bush. Maybe you're laying down in a dark area. That's okay. But Paranoia will absolutely give anything away. And if you're a running gunner and you're running through, in the mid-plains or top of a mountain and you hear that go off from Paranoia, that haunting noise, that you know what I mean. Don't laugh. The sound will give the direction of where it's coming from. You can either go get your kill or know how to angle yourself behind a tree or behind a rock or behind a mountain to where that person can't see you anymore. Now, Looter is great for early on games because you want to be able to see those boxes, all different kinds, from through the walls. You want to be able to see where the perks are, where the guns are. You want to see where everything is through the walls. It'll take time away from opening doors that you don't need to open because you already know what's on the other side. It's so much better when you land in the beginning of the game and you get all the kills because you are too busy looking for the enemy, tracking them, while they are picking up all the loot in the beginning. Like here in this game, I instantly landed, got a shotgun, and I went around trying to find everybody within this area. Like, I was not letting down, I was not stopped listening. Like, it was great. So that also leads to bushes for people who like to hide. You always want to do it in shadowed areas. Low risk of being seen. Very low risk. So you want to be like maybe on the edge of a mountain, but at the very top. You want to be just maybe like over to the edge of it, but a point to where you could hear if somebody's coming up behind you or to the side. But you always want to be in dark clothed characters. Like, you want dark green characters, the darkest color characters that you can get. And I don't mean that in any sort of skin color, I mean that completely in character skins, like the outfits. You want them to be as dark as possible. Now again, this comes into the point where Paranoia and awareness are absolutely key so those are perks, so those are absolutely key things with bushes. Now another big thing I want to talk about is long barrel versus suppressor. Now it's a big controversy because each one has its benefits. But if you are someone who hides, then I would go for the long barrel because it is first of all, it's silenced, so it's kind of quiet. There's no bullet tracer, so people can't see where the bullets are coming from. They can't trace it back to you. So that's probably the biggest key, is that people can't see it. And it's hard to pinpoint based off of the sound. Now, if you're somebody who wants to go for kills, or you're anybody who uses a long-range weapon, you definitely want the long barrel. The long barrel makes the bullets get to the targets faster, and it also has less bullet drop, which means you don't have to aim as high, and you don't have to aim as far in front of them. Now, that's good for so many things, especially for sniping, or if you're using the SDM or the auger. See, I use it on any AR, and it turns it into a machine, an absolute machine. Now, with the other attachments, of course, you got to get the grips. And if you're somebody who's, running and gunning with a submachine gun like the Spitfire, then you're going to want the laser sight. Laser sight, I feel like, is absolutely essential, especially if you're going to be, just going to be, sitting around or killing people. My bad. But anyways, I hope these tips helped you guys out a little bit. And, you know, tune in for the next one on the next series. I'm going to be talking about some more pro tips. This is just part 1. So again, I do hope you guys enjoy yourselves. Peace out. This is Carbon. Please subscribe and leave a like. And I did get sniped there. It's so embarrassing. But it happens, you know. It happens. You got to learn to take those losses.